Hello everyone, bit of a slightly different video this week. Instead of design tips and tricks and reflections about being a designer in this industry, I'm going to have a bit more of an informal video around like some news that I've got, and hopefully some of that content will help people as well. So my personal news is that I will be moving from a design manager role to an individual contributor designer role. And that is nearly 6 years being a manager. So I have some thoughts and opinions and some reflections about what I liked being a manager and what I didn't like, and then I have some overall thoughts. So prepare for opinions. This is something I haven't been particularly deliberating for a long time. I think most designers get to a point in their careers where they're like, oh, do I go to an IC role or a manager role? And so I think it's always top of mind. But for me, this is something that I saw an opportunity and I kind of just took it. And I don't always have obviously have goals and what I want to do, but I don't have a vision. And I kind of, I like to enjoy work, and I like to be part of a team and influence like people and stuff like that. But overall, I've been happy as a design manager over the past 5 years. So this is something I've decided pretty recently and had this opportunity. So given where I think I am in my career and what I kind of want to do next, this makes the most sense to me right now. I've recently been given the opportunity to do more. I've always been a hybrid. I've been given the opportunity recently to do a bit more IC work, and I've absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm excited for this new chapter in my life, in my work life anyway. So I fell into being a design manager, kind of. I think like most designers, we want to understand the business context and be more involved in strategic conversations and influence this direction of the business. And I think I fell into a design manager role because there was a gap and there was people that needed to be managed, and I thought that was an opportunity for me to have that more strategic context. Not sure that's totally true now on reflection, but I'll get to that at the end. So what I liked about being a design manager, the people. You can't get away from the fact that as a manager, you are going to be around people a lot more. I think I'm naturally an empathetic person. So I love identifying what people want out of their careers, what their visions are, their goals, and then helping chart a path to that vision and goal, and setting them up with the frameworks and the OKRs to achieve that and hold them accountable to it. And this might sound a bit weird, but I actually really like the conflict resolution side of things. Turns out I think I'm pretty good at this. It's a big job, but I like getting people in a room and helping them understand like each other's differences, but also where they can relate to each other. Again, setting them up with frameworks and stuff like that to help people understand each other and setting them up with an action plan. There's a really great book which I put in the link called Why Are We Yelling, which really is a good primer on like how to help with conflict resolution. I like the strategic side of things. So being a design manager, you are in much more of those conversations, more meetings. And I like seeing the bigger picture, then tying things up together, and like I spoke to that person over in that side of the business and seeing how that ultimately ladders up to the wider company goals. And more recently, I've really learned into the creative director role a bit more. So again, you have that from a strategic creative point of view. You get to see how all this stuff works together. So you can have a bit of a bird's eye view of how this all pieces, all these different design elements pieced together, and we can have an informed opinion. But those last 2 points I don't think are totally true being a design manager, but I'll get to that. Now, what I didn't like. So I mentioned that I really like the people aspect, and being an empath, I really and a natural people pleaser, I kind of struggled with the people side too. I struggled being an empath whilst maintaining objectivity, and I think as a manager you need to have a certain amount of objectivity, because otherwise you can get sucked into people, and it can really drain your energy. That feels like quite a vulnerable thing to say, and probably a bit of a personal thing to say, but it's where work is life and life is work ultimately. So, and the conflict resolution stuff, whilst I thought it was right at the edge of my personal development and my comfort zone, it did drain me. It really drained me. The other thing I kind of didn't like was, and this is a really hard one for me to say, is being accountable for how others work. Now, that's super important because you need to provide the frameworks for development and for good work to happen. But I'm not sure if I was 100% good at that. I think, and I'll share this reflection at the end as well, because I didn't really fully know what good looked like myself, I struggled to articulate that for others. The last 2 points are probably the most obvious points. If you're thinking of being a design manager, or you're like, oh, I don't want any part of that, then this is probably the things that pop into your mind. There's a lot of meetings, like a heck a lot of meetings. More meetings than there should be sometimes, and a lot of admin. So writing reviews, being in product reviews and design reviews, being like sorting out sickness, sorting out holidays, sorting out like probations, and oh man, it's as a design manager you need to be really clear with your communication. So it took a long time for me to do those things because you have to establish a certain amount of clarity. And I mean, of course, as a senior IC, you have to establish clarity too. But when you're dealing with people, it's more important. So, reflections. I think the reason why I became a manager in the first place, probably unfounded now. I wanted to have that strategic approach. I wanted to have that influence and authority. And yeah, in some ways, the management track does shortcut you to that. But you have to, and as an IC, you have to earn it. But I still think you kind of still need to earn it anyway. So on reflections now and seeing some of the senior designers, IC designers that I work with, I think you can still have that strategic influence and authority through your design work. And arguably that's just as powerful. And the second reflection is, I think I became a manager way too early in my career. My confidence was low, and I think that has stumped my growth slightly. If I had focused on doing great work and focused on the work I needed to do, and then that means then I could become an even better manager. So whilst I had a great experience, and I recommend, if you're thinking about being a manager, I definitely recommend it. It's really rewarding, like really, really rewarding. Like, make sure you feel confident in your work first. And as designers, that's easier said than done with all the imposter syndrome going around. So yeah, that's my feelings. It's been a ride, and I'm really looking forward to the next stage of my career. And I don't think I'm putting a stop to being a manager at all, but I think right now this is the right thing for me, and I look forward to what's happening next. Design leadership is not a two-way. It's not a fork in the road. You don't have to commit to it. You can always come back. So yeah, those are my reflections. I hope it helps. And yeah, if you ever want to chat this stuff through, because it's a hard decision to make if you're going down manager or senior IC, drop a DM, drop a comment, let's chat. Thank you.